Hi, Simon Shazelian here, the voice of reason. And I will continue with the hero's journey, but I just wanted to clear something up. There's been some talk and some secrecy around the third person on the helicopter that crashed in Washington. And I mean, most of the commentary is that it's a female pilot. And there is some comment to say that they don't want to give the details away because it was likely that she was flying, and after the DEI comments that there could be some pushback, which is probably fair comment, and very unfair comment, to be honest. I mean, people know my thoughts on women in combat roles, and certainly from a special forces point of view, it's not suitable for a woman in that role. However, pilots are a combat role, and there's a big difference between, you know, fighting hand to hand on the ground and extracting from gunfights and things like that. When you're actually in a high-tech aircraft, it frankly doesn't matter how strong you are or how big you are. And women are incredibly good pilots. They have a greater attention to detail than most men when pitted against them. Their their vision spectrum is 180 degrees, so it goes like that. They're much wider, as opposed to men's, which is 60 degrees. Okay, so but it's longer. Okay, so men have long sight, and women have very shorter sights but much broader range. So from a pilot's point of view, it would make a lot of sense, seeing that most of the work now is done on instruments and far-reaching radar, way beyond what the eye could see. And what I've heard, and I've done a lot of work on this, the difference between males and females. I used to do seminars on, you know, how to sell to females, how women can sell to men, and all that type of thing. And it's all about this persuasive psychology. And you've got to understand how the brains are wired up, both with males and females, because they are different, and we know that. You don't have to be around the world very long to know that men and women are very, very different. They're wired differently, they see different things. So I really don't like any type of criticism against female pilots, because in order to be able to qualify, they have to do exactly the same as the men. They go through the same SEER training as well. They go through the escape and evasion because they are what is called prone to capture troops, because they are invariably, people will get shot down behind enemy lines, and they have to be trained in resistance to interrogation. That was one of the things that I did. And I found that women were just as mentally strong in the interrogation cell as men, you know, and, you know, save that of torture. You know, the fact of the matter is that women perform just as well as men in the pilot stakes. Now, there's probably some male pilots that might disagree with me, but in my experience, I see really no difference because of the technology in aircraft. You know, there is no advantage to being strong and, you know, 220 pounds. I mean, there is really no advantage in that at all. Everything's fly-by-wire, everything is instruments, everything is going AI now anyway, so for a lot of the time the pilot is pretty much a passenger in their own aircraft. So I really hope that this doesn't spoil all the good work that has been done so far to open pilot slots up for women in the military. That would be a real shame. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered in regards to the crash. It does look like more certain now that they had eyes down on the wrong plane, and they just didn't see, you know, the plane that was in front of them. They were looking at the plane behind the other plane. And I think that the black box has now been found from the Black Hawk. And they did say it was inundated with water. I don't know what that means. With anything that is government linked like this, where there is some controversy and people's jobs are on the line, people's reputations are on the line, it's a new administration, you've got all of those different factors. So there is always going to be some possibility that we don't get to know the whole thing, yeah? And that's just unfortunate. Because there is a lot of public interest in this. You know, I mean, planes go down every day, but there's a lot of public interest in this, I think, due to the location, due to the circumstances, and people need answers, and quite rightly so. This administration has hung its hat on the fact that it will be more transparent. People will call them on it. And rightly so. You know, people need to understand what's really going on. So that's my insight. Simon Trezelyan, I feel I can offer reasonable comment. You know, since I did spend 20 years in military intelligence and special forces, so I understand how the system works, and I understand that there are a lot of big reputations and big plans behind a lot of these things, and that may alter the narrative somewhat. So this is Simon Trezelyan. If you like this content, please like, share and repost. That will help me get all my fans back that they took away because I was telling the truth. So there you go. Simon Trezelyan, love you lots. Out to you.